I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Discmakers. Here's some industry news that may make you a bit uncomfortable. The Virgin Music Group just completed the acquisition of Downtown Music, the parent company of CD Baby. Virgin is a division of Universal Music Group, the same Universal that advocated for the recently implemented streaming royalty policy where tracks with fewer than 1,000 streams per year don't earn royalties. The same Universal whose CEO, Lucian Grange, once referred to aggregators like CD Baby and DistroKid as merchants of garbage. And now, Universal will own one of those aggregators. Truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. The big question I'd like to ask is, what does this acquisition mean for independent artists, specifically artists like you? Let's unpack it. Let's start by talking about those streaming royalties. As I mentioned, Universal supported the 1,000-stream threshold model, arguing that tracks with low stream counts clutter the system and that revenue should be redistributed toward more professional artists. This means that over $50 million in 2025 royalties from artists like you are going to bigger artists pro rata by their stream count. So, some of your royalties will likely end up in Drake's and Lady Gaga's and The Weeknd's bank accounts. So I wonder, now that Universal owns CD Baby, will they advocate for even higher thresholds in the future? No royalties for tracks with under 2,500 streams, for example? Or, and this is the optimistic case, will Virgin have enough influence and clout inside UMG to advocate for better economics for independent artists? There's an inherent tension here because the largest major label in the world now owns a sizable part of the independent distribution infrastructure. You see, CD Baby's unpaid, redistributed royalties from sub-1,000 stream tracks in prior years had to be divvied up between all the majors and indie labels out there. Ironically, if UMG were to reverse course and argue to go back to paying royalties from the first stream, they would now capture 100% of those redistributed indie royalties back through CD Baby instead of sharing them across the broader market. We'll have to wait to see what happens, but we know this. The same company negotiating streaming economics now represents both major label artists and independent artists. And that same mega corporation, the one that once criticized aggregators, now owns one of the biggest ones. For those old enough to remember Arsenio Hall, it's one of those things that makes you go, Will this acquisition ultimately be good, bad, or indifferent for you, the emerging artist? Let's look at two scenarios. Let's start with the optimistic case. If Virgin truly gets behind CD Baby to grab market share in the indie music space, they can bring capital, infrastructure, global scale, and deep DSP and publishing and industry relationships. If CD Baby gains better tools, faster support, stronger negotiating leverage, and more robust services, that could absolutely benefit artists. I mean, most indie artists don't care who owns the back end. They care about, are the payouts fast, are the fees fair, are the tools helpful and improving, and is support responsive. If those improve, artists will win from this acquisition. Now, let's look at the skeptical case. UMG now owns one of the merchants of garbage. I wonder, are CD Baby's indie artist royalties significant enough for UMG to actually invest in the platform? Or are they such a small piece of the overall UMG revenue pie that CD Baby risks benign neglect? Frankly, I don't think CD Baby was the main reason Virgin bought CD Baby's parent company, Downtown Music. I think they wanted the higher volume artists and the market share that came with Downtown's Fuga distribution platform and their Downtown Music Services division. And we all know that the majors are all about market share percentage numbers. So the skeptical case is that CD Baby will be collateral damage in this acquisition. It will be treated as a cash cow, underinvested, slowly stripped down to maximize margins, with costs cut and services quietly stagnating or getting eliminated. Let me be clear. This is not a prediction, but it is a possibility, a worst-case scenario of sorts that could happen. Now, before I go on, I must be transparent. As you may remember, Discmakers and CD Baby were sister companies until 2019, and we still have a strong partnership. They're a reputable, professional distributor and one of the top 3 in the world. In fact, when I recently re-released an old EP of mine, I used CD Baby to get it to market. I fully expect that we will continue that partnership so long as CD Baby remains an effective advocate for artists. This video is not an attack on CD Baby, just a what if imagination of the path forward for the company and its artists. So what should you, the independent artist, do now, especially if you have your music on CD Baby? Well, for now, nothing. After all, nothing's changed yet. So let's not react emotionally or do anything rash. Instead, what you must do is stay informed and watch carefully for any changes. If you're a CD Baby artist, pay attention to any fee changes, any updates to CD Baby's terms of service. If there are any, read them carefully. Changes in timing of royalty payouts. We all know and love that CD Baby pays weekly. New streaming royalty thresholds. Changes to data policies, including privacy and AI learning. And last but certainly not least, support quality. It's only over time that we'll know what this acquisition will really mean for emerging artists like you. So don't make any changes right now before the dust from this acquisition settles, which may take a year or two. But definitely keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you're subscribed and read free music industry newsletters like Music Business Worldwide, Hypebot, and Digital Music News. The bottom line, whoever owns the platform sets the rules. That doesn't mean panic. It means pay attention and protect your own interests because no one else will.